Hello, graceful Libra. As July 15 and 16 unfold, you may notice that life's answers are arriving less through dramatic moments and more through quiet realizations. It's as though a calm horizon is slowly coming into focus, inviting you to recognize the balance that has been taking shape beneath experiences that once felt uncertain. Like the surface of a still lake reflecting the sky only after the wind settles, your own understanding becomes clearer when you allow yourself moments of stillness instead of constantly searching for immediate explanations. Recent challenges may have asked more of your heart than you expected, yet they have also revealed strengths you could not have discovered any other way. What once felt like a season of uncertainty may now begin to reveal itself as a period of quiet preparation. Now is a meaningful time to release what has fulfilled its purpose and carry forward only the wisdom it left behind, allowing the past to become a teacher rather than a weight you continue to carry. The Ten of Swords suggests that an emotionally demanding chapter is gradually settling into the past, making room for a quieter kind of renewal. Rather than focusing on what was lost, this card gently reminds you that every ending creates space for a different beginning, one shaped by greater awareness than before. Alongside it, the Nine of Wands encourages you to honor your boundaries and protect the peace you've worked so hard to cultivate, reminding you that resilience also means knowing when to preserve your energy instead of giving it away too freely. There is strength in choosing where your attention belongs and recognizing that not every battle deserves your participation. The Page of Cups gently opens the door to fresh inspiration, unexpected conversations, and creative possibilities that may appear when you remain receptive instead of trying to force every answer. For Libra, this combination speaks less about dramatic change and more about recognizing which opportunities truly deserve your attention and which simply distract you from what your heart already knows. These days invite you to slow your pace and reconnect with your inner compass. A simple affirmation such as, "I am willing to learn so I may share my wisdom with others," can become a quiet reminder that every experience has contributed something valuable to your journey. Even moments that once seemed confusing may now reveal subtle lessons that only time could uncover. Whether you spend time reflecting, meditating, journaling, or simply sitting in peaceful silence, trust that insight often arrives when the mind no longer feels the need to rush ahead. In those quiet pauses, you may notice your intuition speaking with greater clarity than constant analysis ever could. Even difficult moments have been shaping a perspective that can one day encourage both yourself and those around you, transforming personal experience into quiet wisdom that naturally benefits others. Allow gratitude to become the lens through which you view what is unfolding. Gratitude doesn't ask you to ignore life's challenges. Instead, it gently shifts your attention toward the growth taking place within them. When your attention returns to what truly matters, your dreams begin to feel less like distant wishes and more like possibilities you are steadily growing into through your everyday choices. Rather than searching outside yourself for certainty, remember that your greatest guidance often comes from the honesty with which you face your own heart. Even when life feels temporarily overcast, your inner clarity remains present, quietly waiting for you to trust it again. The more often you return to that quiet center within yourself, the less dependent you become on outside validation to know which direction feels right. You may also notice meaningful people, timely conversations, or unexpected opportunities appearing in ways that feel naturally aligned with where you are today. Some encounters may seem ordinary at first, yet later reveal themselves as important turning points simply because they shifted the way you viewed a situation. Instead of expecting immediate answers, give yourself permission to observe, reflect, and choose with intention. The decisions you make from a place of balance are often the ones that create lasting peace because they reflect both wisdom and emotional honesty. Move forward with quiet confidence, knowing that every thoughtful step can shape the weeks ahead in ways that may only become clear with time. Trust that progress does not always announce itself loudly. Often it arrives through a series of small, meaningful choices that gradually transform the larger picture. As always, remember that this reading is offered as a source of reflection rather than certainty. Astrology is most meaningful when it encourages self-awareness rather than dependency, offering symbols that inspire thoughtful consideration instead of fixed outcomes. Some messages may speak directly to your current experience, while others may simply plant ideas that become meaningful later. Trust your own intuition to recognize what resonates with you and leave behind anything that does not. Every person's journey unfolds at its own pace, shaped by unique experiences and personal choices. In this reading, we'll continue exploring the energies surrounding your relationships, career, finances, health, and family life. But first, I'd like to share a few symbolic details that may complement today's atmosphere. If you enjoy these reflections and would like to support the channel, a simple like is always appreciated. Your support helps this space continue growing into a community where thoughtful conversations and meaningful reflection can flourish. The symbolic numbers for this reading are 15 and 24, gentle reminders of balance, perspective, and the quiet progress that unfolds one thoughtful choice at a time. You may notice these numbers appearing in ordinary places throughout your day, not as guarantees of a particular outcome, but as gentle invitations to pause and reconnect with your intentions. The color that best reflects today's energy is soft rose, a shade that symbolizes compassion, emotional healing, and the quiet confidence that grows when you remain true to yourself. Like the soft light that lingers just before sunset, it reflects the beauty of calm strength rather than dramatic intensity. You're entering a period where the lessons you've gathered over time begin to reveal their deeper value. Experiences that once felt disconnected may now start fitting together like pieces of a larger picture, helping you recognize how much you've already grown. Every challenge, every conversation, and every thoughtful decision has contributed to the person you are becoming. As your confidence grows, allow it to be accompanied by humility, remembering that lasting fulfillment comes not only from reaching your goals, but also from remaining grounded along the way. Celebrate your progress without feeling the need to compare your path with anyone else's. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself is far more enduring than the approval that comes from comparison. Keep pursuing what inspires you with patience and steady commitment, knowing that meaningful achievements are often built gradually rather than all at once. The strongest foundations are rarely created in moments of excitement. They are built through consistent choices repeated over time. Success becomes even more rewarding when it is approached with gratitude instead of expectation, because gratitude allows you to appreciate each stage of the journey instead of constantly chasing the next milestone. If you find yourself tempted by comparison, pride, or unnecessary self-criticism, gently return your attention to what genuinely brings peace. Ask yourself whether your choices reflect your deepest values or simply the expectations of others. The more your decisions remain connected to your authentic priorities, the more natural and fulfilling your path becomes. You may also benefit from changing your surroundings, even if only for a short while. A peaceful walk beneath open skies, a brief trip to somewhere that restores your perspective, or an afternoon spent in a place where your thoughts can settle, may offer exactly the renewal you've been needing. Sometimes the mind discovers clarity, not by thinking harder, but by giving itself room to breathe. Not every hour needs to be devoted to responsibility, and making room for simple joys can restore the emotional balance that supports everything else. Love deserves that same openness. So allow yourself to experience connection without placing unnecessary limits on what your heart is capable of receiving. The more gently you welcome both rest and meaningful connection into your life, the more naturally you recognize that balance is not something you find once it is something you continue choosing, one thoughtful moment at a time. Over these next couple of days, give yourself permission to pause before responding to situations that stir strong emotions. Not every uneasy thought deserves your immediate attention, and not every moment of uncertainty requires an instant decision. Emotions often arrive more quickly than understanding, and allowing yourself a little space before reacting can reveal truths that would otherwise remain hidden beneath the surface. When you slow your breathing and allow your mind to settle, you may discover that the answer you've been searching for has been quietly taking shape all along, waiting for you to notice it. You've stood at difficult crossroads before, and each time you found a strength that seemed invisible until you needed it most. This moment is less about finding new courage than remembering the resilience you've already proven to yourself time and again. As July 15 and 16 unfold, the atmosphere encourages thoughtful movement rather than hurried action. For Libra, whose natural instinct is often to create harmony around you, these days gently ask for something different, to create harmony within yourself first. There is a quiet confidence that emerges when your choices no longer depend on pleasing everyone around you, but instead reflect what genuinely feels right in your heart. Instead of trying to satisfy every expectation or weigh every possible outcome, focus on the choices that genuinely reflect your values. What once felt uncertain may begin to reveal a clearer direction as your inner voice becomes easier to hear, replacing hesitation with a calm sense of purpose rather than urgency. The first card to step forward is the Lovers, but its message reaches beyond romance. It highlights the quiet moment when you stop choosing what keeps everyone comfortable and begin choosing what feels honest to your own heart. For Libra, this card also speaks to the delicate balance between maintaining peace and remaining authentic, reminding you that genuine harmony can only exist where truth is welcomed. A relationship, partnership, or important conversation may ask for greater sincerity, inviting both people to replace assumptions with openness. Authentic connection grows where honesty and mutual respect are allowed to stand side by side, creating a foundation that feels stable because nothing important is left unspoken. Following closely is the Chariot, a reminder that meaningful progress begins when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move together instead of pulling against one another. Rather than forcing momentum, this card suggests that steady confidence naturally follows inner alignment. Sometimes what appears to be a lack of progress is simply the process of gathering your energy before moving in the right direction. Projects that have felt delayed, unresolved conversations, or plans you've hesitated to pursue may begin moving forward once you stop dividing your energy between competing priorities. Every measured step now carries more strength than a hurried leap, because clarity has a way of creating momentum that effort alone cannot sustain. The Wheel of Fortune introduces the feeling that a cycle is gradually turning. Instead of promising sudden miracles, it suggests that the perspective you've gained through recent experiences is beginning to create new possibilities. What once felt like a period of waiting may slowly reveal itself as a season of preparation, quietly equipping you with the insight needed for what comes next. Opportunities that once seemed distant may quietly return. Familiar situations may reveal unexpected potential, and efforts that appeared unnoticed could finally begin producing meaningful results. Your role is not to control every twist of the path, but to remain open enough to recognize when the direction has naturally changed, trusting that growth often arrives through subtle shifts before it becomes visible in larger ways. Then comes the Queen of Swords, whose wisdom invites you to speak with both kindness and clarity. For Libra, this is less about becoming harsh and more about expressing your truth without sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of temporary peace. Her presence reminds you that healthy boundaries are not walls that push others away, but clear expressions of self-respect that allow relationships to flourish honestly. If mixed signals, emotional distance, or lingering uncertainty have surrounded an important relationship or professional matter, this energy encourages honest conversations and healthy boundaries. Clarity offered with compassion has the power to dissolve confusion far more effectively than silence ever could, allowing everyone involved to move forward with greater understanding and trust. Finally, the Ace of Pentacles grounds the reading with a promise of practical growth. It encourages you to build something lasting instead of chasing every possibility that briefly captures your attention. Rather than measuring success by how quickly opportunities appear, focus on how intentionally you choose the ones that truly align with your long-term vision. A new financial opportunity, an investment in your skills, or a carefully considered career decision may become the foundation for greater stability over time. Small, consistent choices made with patience often create the strongest results, especially when they reflect what truly matters to you rather than outside expectations. Like planting a tree whose roots deepen long before its branches reach the sky, today's thoughtful efforts have the potential to support you for years to come. As you care for your ambitions, remember to care for your body with the same consistency. These days invite you to pay closer attention to your overall sense of balance, including rest, posture, stress levels, and the quiet signals your body offers before discomfort grows into something more demanding. Your physical well-being and emotional clarity are more connected than they may appear, and nurturing one often strengthens the other in unexpected ways. Supporting your well-being isn't separate from your goals. It creates the steady foundation that allows everything else in your life to flourish. When your body feels supported and your mind feels centered, you're far better equipped to recognize opportunities, make thoughtful decisions, and continue building the balanced future you've been steadily creating. If you've been brushing aside physical discomfort or convincing yourself that you'll deal with it later, these next few days offer a gentle reminder that your well-being deserves the same attention you give your responsibilities. Your body often speaks quietly before it asks for something more serious, and listening now may prevent unnecessary challenges later. A small ache, lingering fatigue, or the feeling that you've been running on determination alone may simply be your body's way of asking for care instead of endurance. Caring for yourself isn't stepping away from your goals, it's strengthening the foundation that allows you to pursue them with consistency, confidence, and renewed energy for everything that truly matters. As you invest more intentionally in your health, you may naturally begin building habits that support both your physical and emotional balance. Simple choices made consistently can have a far greater impact than dramatic changes made only once, because lasting well-being is usually shaped through daily routines rather than occasional efforts. Pay attention to your energy, your rest, your posture, and the subtle signals your body offers throughout the day. Even giving yourself a few quiet moments to reset between responsibilities can help restore clarity and prevent unnecessary stress from accumulating. Responding with patience and responsibility helps you maintain the steady rhythm needed for everything else you hope to accomplish, allowing your mind and body to work together instead of competing for your attention. Professionally, you're entering a period where your dedication becomes increasingly visible. The care you bring to your work and your ability to approach challenges with grace have quietly earned the respect of those around you. Even if that recognition hasn't always been expressed openly, people are beginning to notice not only the quality of what you do, but also the consistency and integrity with which you do it. If you've been working toward greater responsibility or a role that better reflects your abilities, continue moving forward with confidence. Progress may not arrive all at once, but your consistent effort is laying the groundwork for opportunities that feel genuinely aligned with your long-term vision, rather than temporary success. This is also a time to recognize that true success isn't measured only by achievement. The balance between ambition, humility, and compassion is what allows your accomplishments to remain meaningful long after a goal has been reached. Trust your capabilities while continuing to value the people who support your journey. The willingness to celebrate your progress without losing your appreciation for collaboration is one of your greatest strengths. Your ability to combine professionalism with empathy creates an atmosphere where others naturally feel respected, and that quiet influence often opens doors that force alone never could. Financially, the atmosphere encourages thoughtful decisions rather than rushed opportunities. You may begin noticing possibilities that previously seemed hidden, whether through a new project, an additional source of income, or a practical solution to something that has remained unresolved. Instead of trying to pursue every option, take time to consider which path genuinely supports the future you're hoping to build. Sometimes the opportunity that appears less exciting at first becomes the one that offers the greatest long-term stability. Clarity becomes one of your greatest assets when your decisions reflect your deeper priorities instead of temporary excitement or outside pressure. The coming days also suggest that steady progress can replace uncertainty where resources are concerned. Small, intentional actions taken now may gradually create the stability you've been seeking, allowing confidence to grow alongside tangible results. Rather than expecting overnight change, notice how each careful decision contributes to a stronger financial foundation. Unexpected changes don't necessarily interrupt your plans. They may simply encourage you to approach them from a wiser perspective. The more you trust your own judgment, the easier it becomes to recognize opportunities that truly deserve your energy and quietly support your long-term goals. Remain mindful of the advice you receive, especially in financial or professional matters. Not every attractive offer reflects your best interests, and someone's enthusiasm may not always reveal their full intentions. Give yourself permission to ask thoughtful questions, review details carefully, and allow your intuition to work alongside practical reasoning instead of replacing it. There is wisdom in taking an extra moment to observe before committing. Patience often protects what haste can easily overlook, helping you avoid unnecessary complications while strengthening your confidence in the choices you ultimately make. When it comes to love, these days invite you to express care through presence rather than obligation. If you're sharing your life with someone special, the smallest moments of genuine attention can strengthen your connection more than grand gestures ever could. Honest conversations, shared experiences, and a willingness to understand one another during moments of disagreement create the kind of trust that deepens naturally over time. Making space for each other's thoughts without immediately trying to solve every problem can become an act of love in itself. A simple walk, a quiet afternoon together, or making plans for the future may become memories that hold far more meaning than you expect, because they remind both of you that true intimacy is often built in ordinary moments. If you're single, you may notice a growing sense of peace within yourself, and that quiet confidence naturally changes the way others respond to your energy. Rather than searching for connection to fill an empty space, you're learning to appreciate relationships as something that enriches an already balanced life. This inner contentment allows you to approach new connections with greater authenticity, free from the pressure to force immediate outcomes or meet unrealistic expectations. When you're comfortable being your authentic self, meaningful connections tend to develop with greater ease, creating space for relationships built on mutual respect, honesty, shared values, and genuine understanding that can continue growing naturally over time. During these days, an unexpected message, invitation, or conversation may gently draw you beyond your usual routine. Rather than seeing it as an interruption, consider that it could offer a fresh perspective you hadn't anticipated. Sometimes life shifts not through dramatic turning points, but through quiet moments that invite you to see familiar circumstances with new eyes. Some of the most meaningful changes begin with a simple willingness to say yes to something unfamiliar, even if you don't yet understand where it may lead. Stepping outside your comfort zone now doesn't require a bold leap, only enough openness to notice what life may be quietly placing in your path, and enough trust to explore it without demanding immediate certainty. Within your family life, the atmosphere encourages healing through understanding rather than trying to prove who's right. Conversations that once felt difficult may become easier as everyone approaches one another with greater patience and a genuine willingness to listen. A long-awaited resolution or encouraging news could help restore a sense of stability, even if it arrives in subtle ways at first. What initially seems like a small improvement may gradually reveal itself as the beginning of a healthier pattern of communication. These gentle moments of reconnection often become the foundation for stronger relationships because they remind everyone involved that trust is rebuilt one sincere exchange at a time. For Libra, whose gift often lies in seeing different sides of a situation, this is an opportunity to help create harmony without losing your own voice. There is an important difference between preserving peace and silencing your own truth, and these days encourage you to recognize that distinction with greater confidence. You may naturally become the person who helps bridge misunderstandings or encourages meaningful dialogue between people who simply need to feel heard. At the same time, allow yourself to receive support as generously as you offer it. Relationships become more balanced when kindness flows both ways, reminding you that accepting care is just as meaningful as giving it. Old emotional distance can begin to soften as trust is rebuilt through consistency rather than grand promises. Family bonds don't need to become perfect overnight to move in a healthier direction. Small acts of kindness, honest conversations, shared meals, or even simple moments of presence have a quiet way of changing the atmosphere over time. Every thoughtful gesture sends a message that healing is possible without forcing it. Even differences in age, experience, or perspective may become opportunities to learn from one another, instead of reasons to remain divided, allowing compassion to replace assumptions that have lingered for too long. Your energy feels steady, making this a favorable time to begin or return to projects that require patience and sustained attention. Rather than chasing immediate results, focus on creating habits that support your long-term goals. Consistency may seem ordinary from day to day, yet it often becomes the invisible force behind extraordinary achievements. Every thoughtful step you take now contributes to something more lasting, both personally and professionally. Progress built with steady intention almost always proves stronger than progress built through urgency, because it leaves room for reflection, adjustment, and continued growth. One quality worth cultivating is perseverance, balanced by humility. As your confidence grows, remember that success doesn't need comparison to be meaningful. You've already traveled a path filled with valuable lessons, and there's little to gain by measuring your journey against someone else's. Every person carries a different timeline, shaped by different experiences and different challenges. True fulfillment comes from becoming a wiser version of yourself, not from proving your worth through competition. The more grounded you remain, the more naturally others will recognize the quiet strength you've developed. If a plan doesn't unfold exactly as you hoped, don't mistake a temporary delay for a permanent setback. Some goals simply require more time, different timing, or a fresh perspective before they can fully develop. What feels like slow progress today may actually be giving you the opportunity to strengthen your preparation and refine your direction. Every obstacle carries information that helps you move forward with greater understanding. Resilience grows each time you choose curiosity over discouragement, allowing each experience to become another piece of the wisdom you're steadily building. For those focused on education, training, or personal development, this period offers encouraging momentum. Whether you're pursuing a degree, refining professional skills, exploring a new creative discipline, or simply feeding your curiosity through continued learning, the knowledge you invest in now can become a lasting source of confidence and opportunity. Your ability to concentrate on long-term goals feels stronger than usual, making this an excellent time to organize plans that will continue serving you well beyond the present moment. Every new insight you gain has the potential to strengthen not only your abilities, but also your confidence in what you're capable of creating. When it comes to meaningful connections, you may feel particularly aligned with Cancer, whose warmth and emotional generosity can remind you that vulnerability often strengthens relationships instead of weakening them. Capricorn may inspire you through reliability and shared commitment, encouraging you to build something lasting with patience, trust, and mutual respect. Aquarius brings a refreshing perspective, helping you step outside familiar patterns while reminding you that growth often begins with a willingness to see life through a different lens. Together, these interactions encourage a deeper appreciation for the many ways meaningful relationships can enrich your journey. As this reflection comes to a close, remember that astrology is meant to illuminate possibilities rather than define outcomes. Its symbols are invitations to reflect, not instructions that remove your freedom to choose. Take what resonates with your heart and allow the rest to pass without concern. The choices you make with clarity, compassion, and balance over these next few days may quietly shape the path ahead in ways that only become visible with time. Often the most important transformations are recognized only when you look back and realize how gently they began. If this reading spoke to you, your support through a simple like is always appreciated. And if you'd like to continue exploring these thoughtful reflections together, you're warmly invited to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss future readings. Your presence here is part of what makes this community such a meaningful place to share these moments of reflection. Thank you for spending this time here, and may July 15 and 16 bring you greater peace, meaningful connections, quiet confidence, and the clarity to recognize the opportunities already beginning to unfold.